Oh well, we'll run it back. Yeah. I was like, yay, we got the whirler. And the game was like, nah, you didn't. Run that one back. Yo. Thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate it. Also, hello, Coughlin. Like, the thing with Wooloo is that it's... I like it as a Pokemon, but in terms of, like, using it in any functional way, it's, like, a little bit unfortunate. But the reason why we want the Wooloo for Route 1 catch is that it has a significantly higher experience yield than any other Pokemon in that route, and if you find a level 5 or 6 Wooloo, it will immediately give you a level up. No other Pokemon that you'll find as an overworld spawn will be able to get you that much experience. And the reason why we want to catch in Route 1 instead of like waiting until a little bit later is because by catching on Route 1, you get to ignore the catching tutorial. Leon is just like, oh, you already know how to catch a Pokemon. Fine. On your way. When you first encounter in Sword and Shield, it was like years I didn't even know what it was pretty much. Yeah. The very first time I ever did a speedrun of this game, back when I was just doing 80%, the very first run I did, you're supposed to catch a Rookidee. Oh, I'm just completely out of all sorts. My bad. Ah! The very first Rookidee was a shiny. In my very first speedrun of this. So it's just a little bit distracted. I just got a message. Kind of need to respond to. One thing that's also nice about doing this run is that because I've done it for years at this point, and half of it is very automatic, I can just kind of respond to messages and emails and stuff like that while I'm while I'm doing this run. A lot of it I can do one-handed. 80% or any percent. So just like the standard run. Sorry, my talking is, yeah, I am often very lazy with my talking at times, except when I'm like actually needing to do a commentary of sorts. Yeah, back when I was doing like the very first run of any percent for this game, the Rookidee that you're supposed to catch, it was shiny for me, and I was like, oh, so this is how we're starting, huh? It was very funny. There we go. I so bored of Crystal that instead of being an old person playing a different game, and other people in the top 30 decided to make a player-made category. Hell yeah. I mean, that's the thing, it's like, yeah, we could move on to other games, but we like the games that we are playing. So why not find other ways to challenge ourselves? And if that challenge means playing the game with our feet, sure, why not? uh, 13, 12 hours running it, jeez. I have lost track of the amount of hours I put into this game. It's way too much. I think if we were to have like a similar amount of hours, I think the amount of runs I've done is significantly less than yours. Just because of how long each of these runs are. Alright, that's good at physical attack. Yeah, exactly. Like, the average time of a run is so much significantly shorter that you're getting so many runs in the time that I'm doing one. Crit. This is why you don't want to crit against Hop. You don't want to use super effective against Hop. Ugh, just don't let him talk. 10 special attack? Ugh. Disgusting. It's like, I like Hop as a character, but goddamn, he likes to talk. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, you could have an entire run in the time it gets the first fight in this. Most of the games that I run, they do take like several hours. Like, I don't really have a short run in my repertoire. Glitch perfect movement. Yeah, there's also that aspect to it. Yeah, and like, this game doesn't really have any glitches that you can take advantage of. There's like no real glitches or bugs that can help the speedrun in any way. Like, for as flawed as this game can be, it's still pretty well put together. Oh. Any highlight for normal, any time for that is 28:12. That's still pretty good. Very good. Just responding to a message relating to a fighting game thing. Because yeah, even though I do a lot of speedrunning, I also do a lot of fighting game stuff. I do commentary for fighting game tournaments. And it was just in relation to some of that. Cool. When you just said have to be the third jump lead out of the main save. I can believe it. I can definitely believe it. I remember back when this game first came out, there were some professional VGC players who were like, how do I get this, like, how am I supposed to get Will Wisp? Because, like, I don't have Will Wisp yet. Like, and they're trying to put together a team for a, tournament or something like that. And, we're just like, you get that as the reward for one of the gym battles. And just, like, saying, I don't have Will Wisp yet. It's like, I need it for, like, a team building thing. It's like, you haven't really played the game, I guess. you mostly there for the VGC, which, you know what, fair. But it was just a little bit funny. When shiny bird True. By VGC top 50 in Australia, and fuck that. Yeah, that's valid. I'm looking forward to Champions. I'm probably going to play that a fair bit. But we'll see just how much though. I do enjoy VGC, I just haven't really put all that much time into it. In Australia, yeah. Still impressive. Alright, where's the Wooloo that breaks my game? Are you the Wooloo that's gonna break my game? It's level 6, love to see it. Hopefully you don't break my game. So 70 of the top coastal runners are Aussie? Yeah, it's weird. There's such a strong Australian contingent for those, for that one. Like, for this game, it's... the amount of Australians running this game is much smaller. I think the amount of people in general who are still running this game is much smaller. Because unsurprisingly, not everyone has time to do a 4-hour run. Global, I think maybe for 8 months, but the ancient game, surely method to finding glitch has been discovered. They will probably never find it. it's weird, like, what games end up, well, it also very much depends on how many people are kind of looking into finding things in older games. But every now and then, yeah, you will just, like, some game will just find one neat trick that just revolutionizes a speedrun, but I as far as I've heard, nothing too much with Crystal, but I'm not really, like, as attentive with that one as I am with, like, the games that I run. That's sometimes how it is. Right. Yeah. Fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you want to look at it, the games I tend to run don't have too much in the way of bugs and glitches that have been found out, at least so far. So there hasn't really been anything in the way of like a huge run revolutionizing exploit that we can really utilize into some of the runs that I do. Actually, I found new metal like 4 years ago and then everyone copied it. That's something to hang a hat on, at least. 30 seconds just walking through a mountain, yeah. Like, the most I've been able to find in the games that I run, like, the main games that I run these days are this, Dynasty Warriors Origins, and Eastern Exorcist. Dynasty Warriors, like, the most I could find in terms of, like, some kind of skip was find a very particular way to do a particular fight so you can skip an entire, like, grand tactic that puts them into invulnerable state. Like, I was able to skip through that. That's about it. Sure, it saves about a minute and a half, depending on how well the entire fight goes, but apart from that, it's haven't been able to find too much in that game, and it is again, another 4-hour run. School? Ah, yeah, that'll do it. Oh, hello. Should take 2, and then 4 in the next unless we get a crit. Ah, I see. You get much with age. Mate, I'm in my 30s. I stopped caring about age a while ago when it came to, like, speedrunning stuff. Like, speedrunning is, like, doesn't really matter what age. As long as you've got the drive to keep on doing runs, it's fine. Yeah, Well, there's also a thing to be taken into account, which is, like, how well do you treat your hands? Like, do you do regular hand stretches? Do you take care of your hands? Some of the older players haven't done all that in the past, because it wasn't really, like, something that was on the radar. Oh, that's unfortunate to hear. Yeah. Oh god, our special attack is terrible. Oof. Because yeah, over the past, like, say, 10 years, it has become a much bigger part of the conversation to actually take steps to, like, prevent those kinds of things from being as much of from arising. Because I remember, yeah, when I was playing a lot, like, decades ago, yeah, it wasn't really, like, any part of the conversation. It was just kind of throw yourself at the game, and if you come out at the other end with issues, like, oh well, you you tried your best. It's much better steps are taken these days to ensure that you aren't just going to destroy your hands on the way in. The Game Boy Color, yeah. There were different times, very much different times. Don't worry, you found a way. Yeah, a lot of the typing I do when I'm doing runs of this, I do with my left hand, because a lot of the time, when I do have, like, a hand free, it's usually when I'm just mashing through dialogue, which, thanks to the allowance of turbo controllers for this, that takes care of the mashing. So I can actually focus. Well, I say focus, but I can dedicate some fraction of my focus to, like, responding to things. Actually, now that I mentioned that, yeah, Turbo was one of the main reasons I started to run this in Japanese, because at the time, the English leaderboards didn't allow the use of Turbo. But the Japanese boards did, so, and it's like, just for the sake of my hands, because yes, mashing dialogue for 4 hours is not exactly the greatest thing for your hands. So yeah, I started running in Japanese, and then eventually down the line, the English leaderboards did start to allow turbo. Original hardware cores? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that is another thing about, like, older games. It's, some of the specifics of being able to actually get it to run. And, like, all of the rules and regulations around that as well. It's a lot of hoops to jump through, which I'm glad I don't really have to deal with for the most part. Right, so we do have the best den active, so that's good for us. We want to interact with an active den, so the ones with the beams coming out of it, so that we can get enough watts to buy enough quick balls. Okay, no worry about something. All that aspect of it, yeah. Alright, cool. They do get the one shot. Alrighty. And that is also one of the reasons why we set the specific time that we do on the Switch clock. So that by the time we get there, it's going to have the quick balls. 100%. Seconds faster than theoretically possible with current gen. Are there even the other members of the top don't even bother with it? Oh, that's... Oh, conveniently corrupted footage. Oh, I see. One of those. That's annoying. Alright, give up the mystic water. I have like a bad calculation. I might have found one little glitch that no one knows. Yeah, 32 is a lot for a game of that kind of length. Yeah, usually like if you don't have the footage, it's like not a valid run. A lot of yeah, that's unfortunate. Hmm. Yeah, it gets a little bit unfortunate when things end up in that kind of state. Alrighty. Wow, our special attack is that low, huh? That it took a range to actually take that out. +0. Ugh. This is definitely going to take 3, because this one is a little bit more durable. Oh, now you get the crit? Come on, man. Who wants to live on? Well, keep doing it ourselves? Yeah. Sometimes you have to just keep doing your own thing. Like, a bunch of the games that I run, there's like no one running them, but I keep on running it. I keep on keeping things active as much as I can. Cool. Hit me. Alright, we got through there. Fine enough. running more challenges. Yeah, that's fair enough. As long as there's people wanting to like find ways to keep the community alive, there's always going to be people around for that. That's not always going to probably come in the most obvious of fashions. This one goes to completion. Maybe. We had daylight saving times here, so or it ended. So it's only like 10 o'clock right now. Oh, it's 10:40. So that kind of changes. Shift it back an hour. Happens to feel at this point in the community's lifespan, it's more about the people sticking together that have kept the community alive for so long. Yeah, I get that. It's always a little sad when the game's community just kind of peters out, but yeah. Sometimes that just happens. Oh yeah, time-wise. Yeah, even though this level was not particularly great, everything else kind of... It was enough to get us through this. Without racking up too much of a deficit. The train smiley face, yeah, it's good. I like when we go to Isle of Armor, it's just, you're in the Corviknight taxi on the way over, it's very cute. kind of just wait for us to do something together that isn't. Yeah, because after he's running in after the numbers 1, 3 quite literally hit the theoretical shortest time, the rest of us are seconds off. No feasible theoretical max. There's so many variables compared to exact movement. Yeah, that's fair. It becomes a little bit tough to keep on wanting to go on that grind. And that wall is like literally right there. Alright, let's see what we're working with here. How do you have fun clicking the exact same buttons? Well, that's why I kind of like this one, because there's an element of like... an element of randomization. Because you're not always going to have the same Pokemon in this. The grind to get the perfect timing, and to get closer and closer to the theoretical max. Yeah, that's fair. It does become much tougher to bring up the motivation to keep it going. I like Duraludon. Starmie round 1? Hell yes, we are absolutely taking that. Now I just need to take out my allies. Or at least give it a go. Not that one, that one. My allies are doing nothing right now. Fine. Where's Starmie in the general ranking for runs? I'd say top 10 for sure. It's very good. I need my allies to do anything other than just status. Fine, I have to be the one to solo the Starmie, I suppose. Sand. That's fine. Starmie, you're gonna have to knock out one of them. Thank you. Alright, so you're on the other one. It's going very well so far. Catch this. I'm not going to use it currently because it's going to be very good for us to actually knock out. Like, if the Pelipper user decided they wanted to switch out, we would have still had a Thunderbolt to deal with the Starmie. But we can just go after the Pelipper because that's almost guaranteed one shot with the Thunderbolt. Also, I just really like Cramorant. I just want to see. Let me take a quick look. That's fine. Actually, plus physical defense is pretty good, just considering how this usually ends up going. What are the numbers? HP. 65, we're at 173, 109, 148, 125, 125, 174. Bold. Okay, we're at 30s, 31 special attack IV, 30 on speed, 31 on health, and then just like kind of whatever on the rest. It's what we want. It's what we want. Now, let's actually remember where all the moves we would need to teach are. You need to teach Surf, Hydro Pump, and Psychic. We hold on to Dazzling Gleam, I think. Yes. Surf in 1, Hydro Pump in 3, Psychic in 4. Sorry if I'm not actually seeing chat at the moment because I'm figuring out where all this is going to work. Like, the one spot where things can get really scary is at the very end against Rose. I can talk about that a little bit later when I actually... Hydro Pump. Yes, there's a Psychic. trying to remember all the move names in Japanese. I'm just forgetting a bunch of them, but it's all good. We're into a good spot. That was like an incredibly good adventure, so let's see how this one ends up going. And because we've got pretty much a maxed out physical defense, we don't have to worry nearly as much about we don't have to worry nearly as much when it comes to Gym 7 and all of the dark types that we have to go up against. And then eventually later on, when there's a couple of first impressions that can hit us, there's a Colossopod, and there's also, what else? Oh, right, the Escavalier that Rose has. Yeah, that thing can just destroy us regardless of our defense. So, that one gets scary. Zigzagoon Alley, let's go. You're ahead of me. I taught how to run. That's sometimes how it is. Don't need to use super effective. I'm trying to remember whether or not this is a run where we want to get choice specs. That's good to know. There are some of the special attackers where we can go and get the choice specs, but it requires traveling all the way back through Spikemuth after defeating peers. Which, doing all that takes about close to a minute. We can just spam surf. Nice. Little Yampa, fall down. Fly to the same place, because we don't have to load this town again, because it's already loaded, so the fly just puts us right there. And Wooler, hit me well. I'll have to look a little bit later at where what our special attack allows us to kind of get through. coffee. Alright. Moved it to the side while I was doing all the typing. I'll give it just a fraction so I can get the wheel all nice and lined up. Alright, so there's a little patch of grass that we run up to. Stop. Whoop. Didn't need to. Oh, that might. I didn't mean to like turn backwards. That was just like the snapback on the thumbstick actually coming into effect. But it works out just fine. You free? Hell yeah. Good shit. Hell yeah, man. Alright, we can just spam psychic here. As you said, you're free now. Let's get the baby created. That's a funny way to put it. Like, I'm the one who did this. Two people better you were, but hey, you're the one who created it, so that absolutely counts for something. No great new meta. But not dead. You can get number one? Hell yeah. These just you need that little bit of a spark. It's all you need sometimes. Do it the other way around, yeah. Alrighty. Pop, we just psychic everything. Because sometimes people just need something, anything to light a fire on them. It doesn't have to be anything like too dramatic, it's just like... Sometimes people just need something to start things off. Doesn't have to be too much. Cool, needed that crit, thanking you. Take a 6-month break, I can do any second run back. Sometimes you need a little bit of a break to, like, let things settle. Sometimes when you're just, like, constantly grinding for hours at a time, you kind of lose track on, like, what it is that's keeping you from getting that last little bit. And just taking a step back and then reevaluating things for just a little bit can sometimes be enough to solidify things and just like clarify things. Yeah, if you get like if you're grinding that much, you do tend to get a little bit burnt out, and at that point you kind of just lose track of things like pretty easily. Yeah, it is that kind of investment is very, very easy to get burnt out on. This is a gym that we psychic. The Warfight's complete fighting for #1 because back then no one had the technical such theoretical limits. I know what we're hitting out. Yeah, that makes sense. gym is always so loud. Magical glitch. I never thought it'd be really funny. Oh yeah. Sometimes that's how like some of the best glitches are found. It's just like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if this thing could work? And then you just like mess around with it for a little bit. But then again, that's just like the basis of a lot of glitch hunting. Is just like, yeah, wouldn't it be cool if? But yeah, I know what you mean, because like I'm not really much of a glitch hunter. I'm mostly just do the runs that are right in front of me. And if someone finds something new, I'm like, alright, I'll try and incorporate that. But there have been times where like something will happen in a run, it's like, how can I replicate that? Or it's so close to being something that could be useful, and then just like kind of mess around with it for a little bit, and it's like, oh, okay, turns out it is a bit like that. Try that much to think, how can I make an existing glitch work somewhere else? Yeah, that's definitely a thing when it comes to like games that are much more prone to glitches. Like, yeah, there's a lot more wiggle room. And a lot of instances where, yeah, it's just like, if we just apply this stuff over here, yeah, it's it's a weird push and pull. It's just like, it'd be fun to do more runs that are more glitch heavy, but also I don't envy having to like having most of my runs hinge on glitches. Puzzle the ground into the game ended up in a weird orange pixelated screen. Don't. Oh yeah. Weird. Through the ground into the game. Yeah, it's just like there's just a weird, like maybe like a 1 pixel gap that sometimes you just kind of wedge yourself into somehow. Sometimes there's just like some weird geometry. Everyone else has found that particular glitch. It's like you can recreate it. No way to begin with because of improvement. Yeah. Yeah, those are always like the annoying ones where it's like you know that if you were able to recreate it, there'd be like something there that you could use and it could be useful, but trying to recreate something like that is just where do we begin? That it has happened in a bunch of games where I've been able to like skip a particular fight in like in a game and I was like, oh god, how do I replicate that? The amount of time it would take for me to try and replicate that is time that I could be spent doing literally anything else. Running through memory space, which is, yeah. Yeah, unless you can, like, somehow force that into being useful in some way, it's like... It's a lot. And it's weird. Mother. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Mother is... That's an old school one that's obviously going to have some jank to it. Here's a fucking a good day. Well, Speedrunners get out them is even better. Yeah, it was a mistake to make Sand think. I forgot the theoretical perfect. Yeah. Starts talking about it and it refuses to explain the concept. Yeah, I get you. Doing everything perfectly supposed to do. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like if you've got what is believed to be the theoretical perfect, at that point it's just like you move on to something else. This is one of the reasons why we hold on to Dazzling Gleam. The other reason is the 8th gym with all the double battles and dragons. Seventh Dark, it is also useful there. Trying to think how much we use it. Because we just have like Surf to blast through a lot of it. But I think there are some of them where it is useful. Like the Scrafties. Those are really good to use that against. It's a little better during Gym 8 because even though it's super effective, it's not stab boosted, so it can sometimes be a little bit underwhelming on some enemies. But in Gym 8, because it's a double battle, we'll have a partner to use an X item on the Starmie as it's using it, so it helps it out a bunch. What's the most difficult of the glitches in the old school games? God. I wouldn't even know where to bloody start with that. Ah, Sucker Punch. Because there's so many glitches in the old games. There's so many of them. I can't really... I think which one would be the hardest. Not even known to the general public. Second. I mean, of course, like, one of the more known ones is, like, arbitrary code execution. But that's, I'm guessing, not what you're looking toward. Ready. Yeah, that's what I'm, like, kind of thinking, because there's so many glitches in the old games, it's like, how would you bloody rank them all? In, like, terms of difficulty, there's a lot. Alright. I'm gonna grab Litwix. Pokemon Ferret. I'm probably not aware of it then. Yeah, there's a lot going on with the older games that, like, like, a lot of the older games don't interest me all that much when it comes to, like, a lot of the glitch stuff. Like, it's cool, it's, like, fun, it's, like, a novelty, but it's, like, to me, like, it's just, the older games don't particularly interest me all that much, to be quite honest. quite literally a nuclear war by using certain pixel collision when your profile is exactly. Oh, that's an interesting one. Yeah, that one I can definitely see being a bit of a tough one to get with any level of consistency. Hmm. We're going to spam Psychic against this one. We're still at the point, well, we're still early enough in the game where we don't have to worry too much about, kind of anything, really. Seconds slower ones because you can skip that section. Different, of course, with a different glitch, yeah. Which is how it goes. It's like we had this cool skip that is like super difficult. Yeah, but what if we do this different glitch and just like completely ignore it? Oh well, sure, whatever. Well, that works too. Alright, thank you, Kabu. So far, I see somehow go from the first gym to the waterfall, going to the Victory Road. Oh, yeah, I see. Video games are weird. Right, we have to do another death warp. Do that. Welcome back, Sobble. Say hello to a Mudsdale. Ah, they do encounter. Can I? 3 counters? Come on, man. That's just being rude. It has 3 moves that are attacking and then counter. It decided to use counter 3 times. Just copy what we listen. We did just, yeah. There's a lot of glitches that I've done in the past when I was like, I don't know how this shit works. I just press the buttons. That's kind of how it was when I was running Metroid Dread for a little bit. There's a lot of things in that where I'm just like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm just here to press the buttons. I mean, all games are numbers at the end of the day. It's just a matter of how those numbers are implemented. And some of them are a bit easier to manipulate than others. And yeah, RNG wasn't exactly RNG back then. There was some manner of pattern to it. Now, the pattern could go on for a very, very long time before you can recognize the pattern, but there, like, at a grand scope, there is some pattern at the end of the day. Between a very particular time, you turn your turn into. Right, we're not going to use the boost. We have to use some. Yeah. It was functionally random, it just not on, like, under the closest scrutiny, it doesn't end up becoming random. But functionally it worked in a random enough way. But for the sake of speedrunning and how much they just get, like, dissected, like the games get dissected, yeah, like, it ends up, you start to see the patterns. Yeah, exactly. And to be fair, like, most people playing the games aren't really going to care if it's, like, actually random or just functionally random. This is like, it does the job. So you should be able to catch that snake thing, this, Silly Cobra. I'm trying to remember where you do get them. It's probably somewhere in the wild area. Damn it. Oh, Route 8. Yeah, that makes sense. I always forget that they're there because they're not an overworld spawn. I'm mostly used to just paying attention to what is an overworld spawn. I'm just gonna go for bike to shrink the hitbox. You're functionally bigger when you're on the bike. Going to do it with yourself? Find something else to start running. Set a new goal for yourself. Doesn't have to be in the same game. Could be in the same game, just of a different category or a different challenge you want to set yourself. Start shiny hunting. That will keep you busy. That is for damn sure. Believe me, I've done it in the past. It does keep you busy. You're gonna get double sucker punched. The one case of sturdy that we have to deal with. Shiny Phalanx. I really love Phalanx a lot. Maybe have some Phalanx emotes. I'm pretty sure I did get the Shiny Phalanx in Sword and Shield, but I can't remember if I actually transferred it across. I'm sure I did. Well, I did end up getting another Shiny Phalanx in Legend Zeo. And getting to see shiny Mega Phalanx was very funny. Times over odds. Ooh. That's sometimes just how it goes. Sometimes you end up very well under the expected odds. Sometimes you end up incredibly over it. You never know what you're gonna get. Oh, right. Forgot. This gym, like the control on... this is a little bit more sluggish in Shield than it is in Sword. It's much more... it just feels lighter in Sword. Theoretically perfectly glitched for Pokemon Red Run. Ooh. I also forgot that I am actually running shields, so we're dealing with ghost types. Should essentially play similarly. Yeah. I think Psychic still works out. And you're dealing with the Gengar at the end. Works out. The level 100 Gengar in the first minute to do a glitch attack, which is fun. Yeah. Bit like that sometimes. Fair enough. You got all of them. Alright, now we deal with Alistair. One thing that's interesting between this gym in Sword versus Shield is that in Shield, you have to do 2 extra attacks over the course of the entire gym. Because in this gym for Shield, there is 1 extra Pokemon in the first trainer. And also has a Mimikyu, which you have to hit twice. I'll try and win this way. You did. Just barely had much time to work with it, to sit with it at all. Man, oh, really not. Then you have it. We're gonna spam Psychic for a lot of this. Probably an idea to use Surf on the next 2, especially for this, the Curse Solar. Baby Dollar. Oh. Shadow Sneak. That's right. Is it ever worth Dynamaxing in these runs? Only if you have literally no other option. A lot of the times with this, honestly with just the game in general, Dynamax is only really used if you do not have enough damage, even with setup, or if you're going to otherwise get knocked out. It is better to just try and expend all other options before Dynamax, because yeah, it is very much a time sink. There are some Pokemon in this category that kind of requires Dynamax just to survive. That's about it. That could be the case with Starmie when it comes to Rose, just because the Pokemon that they start with is a Escavalier, and they have Mega Horn. That shit hurts. I don't want to be in a situation where we will end up needing Dynamax, I think. Wait, let me just have another look. Scroll all the way down to the bottom. You can go for a Dynamax against Rose just to get through it without dying immediately, but you can also just gamble on a Hydro Pump. That's also an option. Am I gonna rank perfect? Has reached the theoretical limit. Anyway, can still grind for the top 5 and not been taken up by him multiple times. I like that idea. As you said, it still gives people who want to go for it something to work towards, instead of being like, yeah, you're not going to beat these, so whatever. It still gives people something to work towards. Yeah. Well, it's also a collaborative thing. I know. I just feel like if you're only going into something to win it, that feels like going in with the wrong attitude. And you are going to just end up getting more frustrated as a result of it. Hell yeah, glad to have helped. Right, this gym I just have to spam through. We don't have to worry about the questions. The only one we ever need to worry about is the first one from Opal. Like, even then we don't have to worry too much because we have more than enough speed. Yeah, we're already faster than almost everything we'll ever deal with. Starmie is just that fast. Science community thing, but because of that we're connected together as runners and doesn't want to be better than the guy who runners. Been with for years. Yeah, like a little bit of competition between friends is always a bit of fun. But yeah, at the end of the day, playing video games, there's got to be at least some level of fun throughout all of it. thank god they're not doing anything. Lovely. This Morgrim can be a real pain in the ass because it has Fake Out and it also has Flatter, but it also has Prankster, so it can just prank the Flatter us and be a real nuisance, but thankfully they didn't want to do that. 2 Jonathans. Having multiple people with the same name has, like, I've been used to that thing for years, being one of many Matthews. And, like, there's a lot of us. I think it's the Togekiss that we want to set up on. We're starting to get to that point where we can't just use our levels to just like overpower everything. We are, like, their Pokemon are starting to get leveled up to the point where, especially the Dynamax Pokemon, is going to be strong enough to withstand a bit of a hit. I see. Jackson? Ah, yeah. Fair enough. Didn't need that crit, but thank you. We'll bring out the Mawile so that they can crunch. There's Intimidate, we don't care. Yeah, the vast majority of Pokemon that you run for this category will have to do some setup on this fight. There's only like a select few that can get around it because of either type advantage, something like Clear Body, or having something with Electro Ball. Those are like the main things that get around it. A little bit of spike can go a long way, that's for sure. The reason why you need setup for this fight is either the Intimidate, dropping your attack, or this thing having just ridiculous amount of special defense. I think most of the EVs are invested into special defense, if I recall correctly. And like, this game doesn't have too many special walls. This is like the main one. Didn't need the crit, but thank you. Appreciate it. Just to really rub it in. Would unlock emotes permanently? I think so. Some of the Phalanx ones I have is just you get for following. So there's those. But in terms of like the unlock with the channel points, I can't remember how that goes. B, because we don't want to go with her. Yo, thanks so much for the bits. Whoa, a bit louder than I was expecting. I'll have to adjust that. I'm not sure how that ends up going with bits and channel points and like how all that works together. Yeah, I'm not sure. Weird. Yo! Huge! Alright, hop. Hop, hop, hop. We can psychic everything. It resets every week, yeah. Yeah, also not many people end up during bits. Didn't need to crit, but thank you. Hey, there we go. First Hydro Pump, it hits. That's a lot of bits. Just to keep number one. I mean, sometimes you gotta start a little war. Yeah, that's quite a bit. That's it. Way pass on through. Oh, Gerda, you gigantic idiot. Right, we don't need to catch anything here. Usually we would catch something to help us with that double battles later on in this route, but don't need to. We will need these. These are the extra fence. God! Out of the way. You know what? Fuck it. While we're here, we'll just catch you. Fine, never mind. Alright, game being a little bit annoying. Color your names. Ah, yeah. Chose a good color. Yeah, sometimes autocorrect does the darndest of things. Or... why is Gerdo chasing me all the way from Narnia? His bat disappeared. Oh, because you customized your name? You shouldn't have. Well, you could, surely you can choose which badge you have shown, right? Should be able to. Alright. Nope. There we go. We do get to skip that one trainer by doing a little trick. That's like the one, like, weird little exploit that we get to do. We get one. Across the 4 hours, we get one. It did take me a little bit longer than I wanted. I mean, I find it hard to even call it a glitch because it is still technically working as intended. We're just like exploiting the way that whole thing functions. Yeah, exactly. It's like, where does a glitch end and exploit start, and vice versa? It's like, it's all fucking around with the game. Oh, this fight actually gets much more annoying in Shield. don't want to set up on you. I think they bring out the Dominator next. Yep. Set up on you. And I think we might have to set up twice. Because the Lapras is just huge. It is nice that we have a special attacker specifically for this thing. It gets really annoying when you have to run a physical attacker and then you come up to this thing and you're just like, well, cool. Yeah, Melanie and Nessa are definitely... they've been given a lot of love. Just keep a single special move. A lot of the time you don't have that freedom. A lot of Pokemon, you don't have that freedom because either you don't get the coverage, or even if you do have a special move, if you're running a physical attacker and you try and use a special move, it just does no damage. So you're still doing multiple turns against the Ice Cube. Alright. How does this fight with Hoppo? Set up once and Psychic, pretty much everything. Cool. It's good to be using Psychic here because we won't be able to use Psychic whenever we get into this following section, which is all Dark types. Some physical attackers have a decent special. Sometimes, but a lot of the times, especially for this run, a lot of those physical attackers need all four of their moves for coverage. And you don't really have the freedom to just give up a slot for just that single Pokemon. Because that would be like the only time where that special attack would be useful. Where the auto heals throughout Sword and Shield, they are very frequent. This is like the one section where it is like the longest stretch. Because you get an auto heal at like the start and end of every gym. Well, not the start. There's a lot of gyms where you do get healed on the way in, and a lot of you get healed on the way out. A lot of the conversations with all these people, they'll give you a free heal. But this is, like, as I said, this is one of the sections where we do spend the longest without having a heal. We don't get, after this fight, well, from the start of this fight, the next free heal is after Piers. Yeah. Like, generally, this game is very, very, very nice in that regard. Although, there does end up being a little bit of a, that can sometimes be a bit of a nuisance if you're running a Pokemon if you're running 80% with the Sobble and you need to be in torrent range, that is when it does become a little bit of a nuisance because you're having to constantly reset up torrent. So that is when it can be a bit of a nuisance, but by and large, like especially for this, you're getting free heals all the time, so you're never really having to worry. Not so much about health, but also like PP. That's like really helps out. Yeah, I mean, if you can just one-shot everything, regardless of, you know, anything. Definitely one way to get around it. The only other time where you do have like a bit of a stretch without getting a free heal is right after Gym 8. Oh, well, I did not need to use that boost there. Think about when I asked a question. Fair enough. You don't have to worry too much about our PP throughout this. Even if Marnie's Lipard does use Torment, we have the moves and the coverage to be able to cover ourselves. You know, certain tile by 740. Yeah. Nice. Oh, I used my boost already. There it is. That was unusually generous. Usually there's a Mantike trying to crash tackle me. Makes sense. Grab these guards back. They are pretty much only to be used, we get to use one extra against Alistair. Well, we have one extra that we can use against Alistair if need be, but I don't think we have to. We're fast enough that we don't have to worry about that. It's mostly for the final raid section against Eternatus. Oh, yeah. Grab locked. That thing can hit hard. After. We have a Dazzling Gleam for you. Say hello to 4 times damage. We have Psychic for you. There are some water types that have issues with this Pokemon because they don't have a good secondary type to work with. I'm thinking like Tentacruel. Tentacruel is very, very good for this run, but does have issues with the Toxicroak because it has dry skin and also resists, very much resists, the poison. We have to have at least one extra Pokemon with us as we get into this gym, or they just won't allow us in. I am just going to heal up. How annoying Crystal will be with the abilities? Yeah. Definitely see that throwing a few wrenches in. Oh, right, yeah, not having the physical special split in those ones is also... I always forget about that it took so long for them to actually do that. The split is the only reason you can't do it? Yeah. I mean, I absolutely prefer having the split. Without it, it's just like, ooh. We can spam Surf throughout all of these fights, it's really nice. Yeah, there's definitely some fun applications for not having the split. But yeah, by and large, the pros heavily outweigh the cons of the split. We get to do the funny thing. Yeah, of course. Sometimes you just want to do the funny thing. And this is the reason why we have to have a second Pokemon coming into this gym. The game forces us to. Nothing to worry about. Doing any setup. Because as it turns out, Starmie has a lot of damage. if we had enough special attack, well actually, if we had a positive special attack nature, we could have done this fight without doing any setup, but we don't. We do have good special attack, but not enough to one-shot the Obstagoon with a Hydro Pump. Chat window on it. Learning how to be a sweaty game. Yeah. Like, half of the time I'm doing this run, I'm looking at either 10 fights in advance. I'm looking all the way at the very end. It's like, okay, what is going to kill here? What ranges will I have to be worrying about later on? Yeah, it's because it's a much more drawn out run. Yeah, you do have a bit more time to just chill and... This thing does have fake out, but it's probably just going to go for payback. Yeah. Now, please don't use... Okay, where's the Obstagoon? 0.126 of a millisecond off. That... Ooh. You're really splitting hairs over there. Thank you for not going for obstruct. Now we get to just pass it through. Perfect amount. That's nice. America, they just sent a video from streams. Yeah. Like, ah. I see. Sometimes it does feel like that when you... when the game decides, like, nah, how about you don't? Like, getting so close yet so far. Yeah. Definitely sympathize with that. Like, alright, back to the start, back to the lab. Yeah, that is so close. Hey, there is a Delmise. It's like a 2% spawn rate in Overworld. It's been a while since I've seen one of them. He's still going through the preliminary glitches. It's like, alright, to know all these glitches, you first need to learn this 100. Yeah. Alright, I do need to bring out the other Litwick. Yeah, exactly. Before you need to, we need to go back to the Big Bang. We go back to the Big Bang. Yeah, it's a lot. It's just a lot. Alrighty. These double battles aren't too bad considering we have both Surf and Dazzling Gleam. We don't want to be using Surf all that much, considering we don't want to be constantly knocking out our allies and then having to revive them. Although we will be doing that eventually. Yeah. Kind of wild to think about, huh? This one we will use Surf. Because once we get through all 3 of these fights, if we have all of our other Pokemon knocked out, as we get into, like, go into the tunnel, just get into the fight with Raihan, if all of our other Pokemon are knocked out at that point, it will give us a full, like a free heal on everything. Don't worry, there's still so much more time. Ugh. You have so much time ahead of you to waste, don't you worry. Alright, this one I think takes 2. Where's the Abomasnow? I think it's the Abomasnow that survives this. Yeah. I mean, both of my ally, well, all of my remaining Pokemon all knocked out. They usually go Aurora Veil, so it's not too bad. Yeah. Play 2 devices at once. Ooh. Multi-gaming. Alright, so we just gotta Surf and X special attacks. That's it for 2 turns in a row. Really, Really maximizing your time. Surf number 1. Remember, I need to bring you out. To do it all again. Nice. I really like Duraludon. And then they turned it into a freaking suspension bridge. So funny. Good old Archelodon. I think it's cool before it Gigantamax, and then it's just funny. Oh, this makes it a bridge, true. Wait, right, what? I don't think so. Maybe one day, but it's probably not within like any kind of near future. That would be like way, way, way into the future. There's a bunch of other games that I'm still speedrunning at the same time, so... Not like literally at the same time, but I'm also doing quite a bit. Let me just grab... 2 full restores just as a treat. 2 runs at a time. I don't need to be doing multiple speedruns at a time. Smash Hilarious filming setup? Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, it's like, we still just use Surf on this just because rain boosted Surf is pretty good. You can resist it all you want. It's a rain boosted Surf with a Mystic Water. Surf for these two, and like the rest of this section as well. And speedrun and get into top 50 within a month. Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see how it can get a little bit disheartening when someone picks something up really quickly. There is like the multiple ways to look at it. I can understand how it can get a little bit disheartening. Like, what do you mean? I put all this time and effort in there just... Like, come on. Like, what are we doing here? Yeah, some people are just incredibly adept at just picking up games, and it's just like... How? Also, yeah, there was those two people that we walked past. They are a double battle, and because we only have a single Pokemon, they don't interact with us. There's been a few of those throughout the run where, because we've only had a single Pokemon with us, we just get to walk past a double battle. Yeah, exactly. It's like you lay the groundwork, but it's not like they're just walking in and just learning, like going from ground 1 or ground 0 all the way up to, yeah. I think they're with a nasty plot. I mean, ages ago we didn't really know what we were supposed to be looking for. And speedrunning back, like, many years ago, it's like, it wasn't nearly as big of a thing. So, 1 second. If speedrunning was as big as it was, like, 5 years ago, as it, like, 15 to 20 years ago, then sure, like, a lot of those would have been discovered, but because it's only been, like, the past 10 or so years that speedrunning has really started to pick up, like, and people really start putting time into, like, alright, how do we dismantle these games? It's like, yeah, it makes sense that a lot of those weren't found for, like, quite a while. Like, a lot of the glitch hunters, like, for early speedrunning, were more focused on things like Ocarina of Time, Mario 64, things like that. Okay. Not every game has the same amount of eyes looking at it. And sometimes it's not about how many eyes are looking at a game, it's just having the right eyes looking at it. We can surf a lot of this. Cool. This amount of obsession for actual speedrunning that led it to fun. Exactly, it's like, it's a very different landscape than what it was 5 years ago, let alone 10, 15, 20 years ago. It's just, everything is, like, people look at video games, and especially in the speedrunning sense, very differently than what they did years ago. At, like, different stages. There you are, big boy. High horsepower. Cheeseburger method, that's right, when it first started, still to this day, still a favorite, even though it's not very efficient, like 19-minute ones. Yeah. That is another thing about speedrunning, is that there's gotta be some funny names. There we go. Both can be true. Both can be true. Alrighty. The popcorn method? Alright. Time. This section, I think we're pretty breezy through it, just because you have surf of it. It's a lot of it's just all steel types for the most part until we get to Oleana herself. Control very quickly and very much explode on it. Yeah. Yeah. Pretty sure it's not surf here, right? We get to use one hydro pump, and it's because it's a ferro seed. Resist everything else. We have our own particular set of skills. And sometimes they don't overlap. There's definitely one way to do it. Right, so on. Head into this center. I'm gonna grab some calciums. It's the max. While I'm here, might as well. Right. 10. That's good. There's a red back on. Ugh. Alrighty. Just hit. Ooh. Alright, try it again. Actually, with the attack box, I can probably just go with this now. Ideally, you just hit it with the Hydro Pump, but in that fight, Marnie gives us an attack boost. So it's like, ah. Once you got the attack boost, the surf is enough. It's a skip cutscene. I don't know. When it comes to Pokemon adding or quality of life stuff, it feels like a weird. They take some steps forward, some steps back in some games, and it's random in which ways they go. I don't know, I like the story in this. Yeah, he gets robbed at the end, yeah. Gives it real nice and simple. Original Kirby speedrun again? Ooh, fun one. Is it normal for people to calculate the theoretical limits of their speedrun? Yeah, it's easier to do that with a lot of the older games because they're, especially like the older Pokemon games, because it is easier to, that's correct. It's easier to see where time can and can't be saved or lost or whatever. Like in games where it's very nebulous a lot of the times, especially when it comes to like 3D movement, it does become a little bit tougher to accurately calculate an absolute best. Communities normally do that, or we're just weird? No, I think a lot more of the retro games do similar things. Like, I know that like some of the 2D Mario games, like the older 2D Mario games, do a lot of that. Because again, it is a little bit easier to like count frames essentially. Some games it's easier to count the frames than others, if that makes any sense. Rough averages and too lazy to calculate it. Some people do that. Some people will go ahead and like find the absolute, but yeah, it just changes from community to community. Without knowing your absolute maximum, because then you continue to get excitement. So you better you'll keep trying. Yeah, there is that as well. Some people like having that knowledge, others aren't too bothered by it if they have that knowledge or not. Alrighty. We don't want to set up on the Frost Glass because it has a lot of things that can be very annoying. Track the speed so if I figure it out. That's all good. Don't worry, I have it all under control. I don't think it has Snow Cloak, but it does have Double Team. It has Will-O-Wisp, it has Double Team. Yeah, it could be a real pain in the ass. I assume the platinum with the another logs are trying to set up on it. Yeah, that'll do it. Snow Cloak and Double Team? Ugh. Yeah, you just like, oh, it makes sense to just, you know, do your setup and yada yada yada, and then you look over on the other side, it's like, oh my god, what have I been neglecting? I never hit a move beyond that, except for setup moves. Yeah. That tracks. That's when it feels real bad. It's like, alright, cool, I suppose. I guess this is what we're doing. Alrighty. Grab this X speed for later. Even though we are faster. I'm pretty sure. Oh, I forgot that there's this just chart. Alright, we could actually use the Starmie for Leon. Oh yeah, weather is permanent back then. Sorry about that. Yeah, that shit sucks. That's one thing that's nice about some of the newer generations. They've kind of worked out... The iteration over time has definitely made some of those experiences a little bit less tedious or just less shit. A sunny day on your Terra 20 minutes beforehand. Ooh, yeah, that is one of those moments where he's like, if only I had something to deal with this. Ooh. Yeah, I mean, there still are, like, some issues when it comes to balance. Like, there's the discussion of power creep that does come up over the past, like, few generations, but by and large, in terms of, like, mechanics and systems, they've generally done a pretty good job. It's just, like, particular Pokemon, there have been some outliers. Nessa can be a bit of a pain. Actually, no, I think we should be fine. Yeah, for sure. You just have to look at things like Urshifu, Ogerpon, or even at the start of Scarlet and Violet, Goldengo, some of the Paradox Pokemon like Fluttermane. Yeah, there's definitely been some very, very strong Pokemon. We're fine. We just psychic everything. I don't know, ready to tap any Pokemon. Geodude generate? Okay. I see. It always has to be the Geodude. We're fast enough that we don't have to worry about this. That is usually the fastest Pokemon that we have to deal with outside of Leon. The Barrascuda. Is that like 164? 154. But we're like in the 170s when we got this thing from the get-go, so we've been faster than everything for quite a while. Other thing that could be faster than us in this fight is if they set up the rain early. Because both the Seeking and the Barrascuda had Swift Swim. But just because of like a bit of an AI quirk where they'll want to send out something that always has something super effective, they send out the Seeking and the Barrascuda before the Pelipper. There's only like a few Pokemon that you're running this, that they will send out the Pelipper. And it's usually if you have something weak to flying. It would be less fun if it was something like a Steelix. That's kind of how it feels. Like, surely you can't do that with just a Geodude. They're gonna go for Rock Tomb and lower our speed, but again, we are fast enough where we should be faster. Even at -1, we should be faster than the Gengar. And most of the time, when you're setting up on this fight against Alistar, you're mostly wanting to get enough damage to deal with the Dusknoir and the Cursola. Those two are more durable most of the time compared to the Gengar. Even in Dynamax, the Gengar is usually easier to take care of. Yeah, it's just math. It's all numbers at the end of the day, right? Blaring Corsola, the Unevolved. Yeah. It was like early on in Sword and Shield. It was a monster to try and take out. With an Eviolite, that thing is an absolute just terror. Oh, you're talking about Pokemon Go. Oh, yeah, I'm not sure how it goes in that, but probably a rather similar thing where it just exists almost permanently. That thing does not want to go down at any point. I think the top 100 in the meta can deal with it. Ooh. Wild. Alright, we don't want to set up on the Torkoal, so we won't. Risk not having a counter for another top 100? Yeah. That's sometimes what makes a Pokemon strong, is being able to force some very uncomfortable decisions. Rough skin on Goodra? No. This one does not have rough skin. I think they just missed a Thunder. Because the AI for this Rhyhorn fight, they will very often, most of the time, bring out Pokemon and set up weather. Dry skin? Oh, I don't think so. Can't remember. So usually the Goodra will want to go with Rain Dance and then go for Thunder, but there is the odd instance like that where they just rip the raw Thunder and try and hit with that. The reason you'd want to tell is because of dry skin? Yeah, no. It's just, usually you use the turn that they want to set up a weather to get set up yourself. Because 9 times out of 10, I'm expecting that Goodra, in that kind of instance, to go for Rain Dance. In other Pokemon's cases, the first Pokemon that comes out after the Torkoal, if you're able to take out the Torkoal with any setup, the next Pokemon that will come in, you're usually expecting them to set up whatever weather, unless the sun is already up, and they're trying to hit with fire or something. You can usually use that turn where they're trying to set up their weather to set up your attack. Yeah, on the odd chance they just forego the weather and try and hit you with a raw Thunder. It's like, alright, sure. Hmm. The safe thing would be to go for the Dynamax version of this fight against Rose, but I don't want to. I don't want to use the Dynamax. I just want to just hit the Hydro Pump. It's gotta work and can't do the runs. Man, having a life, huh? Makes things tough. Good holiday to you. Yeah, it's also been like long weekend and stuff like that. I'd rather slam myself into a wall like that than run into the Pokemon, so that works. Nice. Always a good time getting through there without running into a Pokemon. Doesn't happen all the time, but when it does, it's nice. I think it's on the trucks. I got 50 now, so like people my age I can have alive. They fit building the Pokemon scene. Hell yeah. I should go to bed, but sitting up till the end of this run. Far too deep. I mean, we've got like, God, how long? About 20 minutes. We're definitely close to the end. We just have Rose, we have all of the alternative stuff, and then the fight with Leon. I don't feel like you have to stay up just on my account, but appreciate just hanging out. Right, Oleana, hello. That crash happens again, you just hear a sheep laughing in the background. Oh, I would just be done for the night. I would absolutely just be done for the night. That's my actual stream schedule. I usually start around 9 PM most nights. Like, Monday through Saturday, I start at like 9 PM. And go till, just hit this. Thank you. Go through till like either 1 or 2. Cool. Okay, we've got him in the loop. Okay, we just surf everything now. There's a weird quirk that you can exploit with this specific Ferrothorn where they will use Curse. Like, if you use an X Defend, they will use Curse, and they will just only use Curse. So you can actually just set up for full, like for free on them. There are times where they haven't done that and they just hit me with a Power Whip and I've exploded. So, not 100% foolproof, but it does work out most of the time. Yeah. There's a lot of like weird AI quirks that you end up just like you end up finding a lot of them by running this category because you're running into all the different leaders with different Pokemon and seeing how they will react differently to each Pokemon that you have, because this game has smart trainer AI, quote unquote smart trainer AI, that we try and use against them. Streaming a dying game. I mean, I've been streaming this dead game for years. And I will still keep on streaming it because I enjoy it. It's a fun one. I also speedrun a lot of Dynasty Warriors Origins, the newest one, which came out last year. And that's what I'll be spending a decent amount of this month doing because I have a GDQ hotfix where I get to show off Dynasty Warriors Origins later this month. So I'll be needing to practice that up a whole bunch. We didn't take damage. No, we didn't. Cool. Best Monomain, second in my opinion. But I think Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl is much better than people say. BDSP, like, I had a fun time playing it. But it's a bit of a mess of a game. To me, it is like just by the nature of the whole dev cycle worked out. It felt, looked, and played, and eventually ended up, like in terms of speedrunning, was very much the second coming of Gen 1. The dev group behind BDSP ended up falling into a lot of pitfalls that were kind of present in Gen 1 that Game Freak ended up learning from over time. Let's give you Glimmering Platinum, we're good? Yeah, fair enough. I'm not sure if how realistic that one would end up being, but actual Diamond and Pearl in that sense, it is. It was a faithful recreation, in both the good and the bad ways. Yeah, it's like... That was also another result of the fact that this was a very new team doing the Pokemon game. They, I don't think, had a lot of space to expand upon. Yeah, I mean, I had a fun time with it, but yeah, it definitely had its issues. Then again, like, I speedrun this, I love this game, and yes, it does have its issues as well. I really enjoy Scarlet and Violet. It definitely has its issues. All games have their issues, that's for sure. As the hate is because of the hype. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And people are always going to try and find ways to hate and get angry and poke holes in everything. Sometimes, like, some of the complaints and criticisms are valid, and then other times, people just need to just, like, go outside more. Just the newest dev team with no experience, like, they didn't listen to the community. Yeah, it was like... It was the perfect storm of everything, kind of. Like, Diamond Pearl is pretty cool. It was one of the generations that, like, I understand why people like it, but it just not the generation that has resonated with me all that much over the years. So I can understand why people had a lot of hopes riding on the remake, and were then understandably a little bit disappointed about it all. Yeah. I mean, my favorite gens are 3 and 8, so... To each their own. The game concept like expansion past Gen 1 more than a new gen. It did at points feel like that, yeah. But it was still very early in the life cycle of Pokemon, so it was like... Ooh. Yeah, for some people, that, like, the tie-in with Gen 1 is kind of what sells people on Gen 2. It's like, for some people it works, on others it doesn't. Oh, yeah. Mega Ruby Alpha Sapphire is probably my favorite of all of the remakes. So yes, Typhlosion is good. Let's not get into that. Let's not get weird about that. Alright, so we are going to be using... Oh, wait. I just muscle memory that so much. We're using Starmie for this. My muscle memory of just like switching to the Eternatus for this fight was so strong. Alright, so we only need one turn of setup. And we didn't really need the to grab the X speed. I'm pretty sure. I mean, within reason. Alright, Shadow Ball. Yep, they're going for Shadow Ball. We can... Whew! We live those. Calculated. Sword and Shield with his random BS sometimes. Oh, of course. At the end of the day, I play this game and I speedrun it a lot because I enjoy it. And I just really like this game, and a lot of it comes down to just the overall game itself. GMAX to Rillaboom. On the game's release, the starters didn't have their GMAX. But it also would have been like kind of neat because we would have had all three of the starters, well, theoretically. Because Hop had the second starter, Leon took the third. Man in the battle tower. Yeah. Alright, so now we've got to wait for the credits. Because we're running on the Japanese leaderboard, the timing doesn't end until the end of the credits. So I gotta sit here and wait for like 4 something minutes. I'm gonna go use the bathroom while I wait for this to go, so yeah. Back in a sec. Alrighty. This is a decent run. I'm trying to think if there's anything like major that went awry. Wait. Quick check. What was my time for this? The best time for this so far? Shield. 352.35. At the very least, this could be a PB. It won't go under 350, but close. PB. Well, PB for this specific leaderboard. Can't remember. Wait, will it be better than my other ones? No, it won't, because I think I have a. What's my best? Yeah, I have a 350.09 in one of them. For this leaderboard, or for Japanese Shield, is a 351.15, so we may even end up beating that. Across all of the 4 boards, the best time is at 350 and 1 second. I think that was that Head Bob? Yeah, Head Bob did that. Yeah, Head Bob put a 3 hours, 50 minutes, 1 second with a crocodile in sword in English, and then I did a 3 hours, 50 minutes, and 9 seconds with Galvantula. So, not that far off. At the very least, with this one, should be the number 1. I can get one of the number 1 spots back. $351.02. Yes, that is a PB. For this one. for Japanese Shield. It's actually like pretty significantly. It's like over a minute faster than my previous, which is good. I still want to get under 350, but that's going to require a lot of stars to align.